All right, we're going to take a look at solving systems of equations by elimination. So yet another way of solving equations. Again, make sure that you're updating your table of contents with the page number. So just like we did before, we're going to cut the entire margin, the entire tab rather, all the way down, and then cut right underneath the word elimination across to the margin and down, and then copy down the next one, which is by words underneath it. Pause the video and copy this down. We're going to take a look at solving system of equations by elimination. Okay, so if it isn't in y equals or x equals, this is another method that you could use it in. So what you're going to do is you're going to circle all your coefficients. What that means is the number before each variable. Okay, I want you to circle the number before each variable. So that's going to be right here, and don't forget the symbol. Okay. Oh, you don't need to circle that one, sorry. Just between the variables. So right here, and what's the number next to this one? Y, 1. Okay, so you're going to circle that. You need to make the coefficients of either x or y, so either x or y, the same by multiplication. But if you do it to one thing, remember you do it to everything, right? So if I look right here, I have -2 and I have 7. Are those the same? No. I have -2 and I have -1. Are those the same? No. So I need to make them the same through multiplication. So is there a way I can get -2 to become 7 by multiplying? No. What about -2 to become, or the other way around, -1 to become -2? I can't. If I take this equation and I multiply it by 2, I'm going to make it the same. So I'm going to multiply this by 2, and remember, if I do it to one thing, I do it to everything. And I'm just going to rewrite it. So I have 2 times 7, which is 14x. 2 times -1, -2. Y equals -20 times 2 is -40. Okay, so I'm going to rewrite that. Now look at my coefficients of x and y. Do you see that my coefficients of y are the same? Okay, once that happens, I'm going to move on to my next step, which is line up the x's and the y's and the numbers. You want to put line them up like right above each other. So I'm going to write this out. I'm going to write this out. 2x minus 2y equals -8. Okay, now I'm going to line this up too with that. So first is x. So here we have 14x minus 2y equals -40. Alright, line them up. The signs for the variable you are eliminating, that means the ones that the coefficients are the same. These two right here, the ones that you're going to try quickly getting rid of, have to be opposite. If not, change all the signs of one of the equations. So it doesn't matter which one you do, just change all the signs. Alright, because these are all negative, I'm just going to do it on the top, but it doesn't matter, you could also do it on the bottom. Alright, so I'm going to change all the signs of this one. So that's going to be a plus, and a plus. Then after you do that, you're going to add the two equations. Okay, so I'm going to add this. So 2x meets positive. What's going to happen? They're going to join and grow, so that's going to be more positive. So 16x. Positive meets negative, they're going to fight. And because they're exactly the same number of people, that's going to disappear, which is why it's called elimination. And then positives are meeting negatives. What's going to happen? They're going to fight. What team's going to win? The negative team is going to win because they have more people. By how many? They're going to lose 8 people, so 32. Okay. So this is why this is called elimination. You're going to eliminate one of the variables. So now I have 16x minus equals -32. My next step is after adding, I'm just going to solve the equation. So how do I solve? I divide both sides by 16. So I get x is equal to negative divided by a positive. Negative divided by a positive is bad, so that's negative. 32 divided by 16 is 2. And anytime you get x equals or y equals, remember, put a box around it. Alright, then you're going to plug in the answer into any original equations. You're going to plug this into any one of these two, whichever one looks easier. Okay, I'm going to plug it into the first one just because the numbers are smaller. Alright, so -2x minus 2y equals -8. And where I see x, I'm going to plug in -2. So -2, and then I see x in parentheses, I'm plugging in -2. Then bring everything else down, -2 then y equals negative 8. Okay, plug into any original equation and solve. And solve for the variable. Alright, so negative 2 times negative 2, and negative times a negative is a positive, so that's going to be 4 minus 2y equals negative 8. Okay, bring this to the other side, that's going to become what? Negative 4. So you're going to have negative 2y equals negative t meets more negatives, so they're going to join and grow to 12.
This is a listening check. Put a circle around my smiley face.
What I have to do is just divide by negative 2. And so you're going to get y equals negative divided by negative. Negative divided by negative is a positive. 12 divided by 2 is 6. Okay, and this is now my solution. So just like before, when we were doing substitution, write the solution x and then y. So negative 2x and then y, 6. And just like we did before, you're going to check if that is a solution. Is it a solution? Remember, just like we did before, you're going to plug the answer into the equations to check. So we're going to plug this into both equations to check. So I'm going to write the first equation down.
This is a listening check. Color in the circle negative 2.
Which is negative 2x minus 2y equals negative 8. And then we'll write the second equation down. Just leave a little bit of room. 7x minus y equals negative 20. And I'm just going to plug my x and y. So in this equation, it's going to go negative 2 and then x. What's x? Negative 2. Minus 2 and then y. What's y? 6. Equals negative 8. On this one, it goes 7 and then x, which is negative 2, minus then y, which is 6, equals negative 20. Punch on the calculator and see if it's true. I'm just going to do this by hand. Negative times negative is positive. 2 times 2 is 4. Negative 2 times 6 is negative 12. Is that equal to negative 8? Positives are meeting negatives. Negatives are going to win by 8. So we did that correct. Checking this one. 7 times negative 2 is negative 14. Minus 6 is the negative 20. Negatives are meeting negatives, more negatives, so that's 20 equals negative 20. So that is correct, which means that this is a solution. All right, take a look at another example. So once again, if it's not y equals or x equals, you're going to use the elimination method. You first circle all the coefficients as number before the variable. So don't forget the symbols. So that's going to be a 12. It's going to be a plus 6. It's going to be a negative 8 and a negative 4. Okay, you have to make the coefficient of either x or y the same by multiplication. All right, so can I make negative 8, 12? No. Can I make 4, 6? No, which means now I'm going to have to multiply both equations to get it. So what are the smallest numbers? So the smallest numbers are going to be y. So I'm going to pick the smallest numbers because it doesn't matter. You can pick either x or y. It doesn't matter, okay? But I'm just going to pick the smallest numbers. All right, so I'm going to make 4 and 6 the same number. What's the least common multiple of 4 and 6? 12, right? So if I make this 12, I can also make this 12. Okay, so what I'm going to do is multiply. How do I make 6 12? I need to multiply by 2. So remember, if I multiply by one thing, I multiply by everything. And how do I make 4 12? I multiply by 3. So multiply by 3, multiply by 3, multiply by 3. Okay, let's rewrite these equations out. So you have 12 times 2 is 24x. 6 times 2 is 12. 36 times 2 is 72. Multiply by 3. Negative 8 times 3 is negative 24x. Negative 4 times 3 is negative 12y. Equals 10 times 3, which is 30. Okay, so now notice I've got the exact same coefficient with y, which is 12. Once I've done that, the signs for the, line up the x's and the y's. All right, so then I'm just going to rewrite them lined up. So I have 24x plus 12y equals 72. And I have x first, so that's negative 24x minus 12y equals 30. Okay. All right, so line them up. The signs for the variable you eliminated have to be opposite. So I was trying to get rid of the y's. Are these opposite? Yes. If not, change the signs, so I don't need to do that. Add the two equations.
This is a listening check. Color in the circled -8.
Okay, so 24 minus 24 is going to be 0x. 12 minus 12 is going to be 0y. 72 plus 30 is going to be 102. Now we have, again, nothing equals something. So nothing cannot be equal to something. So because this cannot happen, we have what? No solutions. And again, if you were to try and graph this, it would be two parallel lines. In other words, the slopes will be the same. I'm not going to do it, but remember I did it in the previous video. All right, so no solutions on that one. All right, final example.
And we'll continue the last two examples in the next video.